posting my balls on Twitter, but also for teaching my dog to react. By looking in the eye as I do it. Okay. I taught my dog. You're so intimidating. I taught my dog to Nazi salute and also react very happily whenever I said gas the Jews. And I'm not sorry.
Oi, good job. Marcus, are you expecting to get paid for this show after such anti-Semitism? Well, I guess we'll just let you start before you have a heart attack and get arrested.
Thanks. Bastards. Hold on, just get my water. Professional. But yes, hello, welcome, I'm back in London again. Cheer. Fucking hell, you're from here, fucking cheer. But yes, as time has been going on, I felt myself getting steadily like more progressive. You know, I think we might actually be losing the culture war a little bit. I'm finding myself becoming accepting of more different kinds of people, migrants, refugees, the English. You know, everyone. And I'm finding myself becoming more accepting of LGBT people as well. If one of my kids came out of the closet, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't mind. You know, Dad, I'm bisexual. That's okay, you're still my son. Dad, I'm gay. That's okay, you're still my son. Dad, I'm trans. That's okay, you're still my son. Because I'm not fucking paying for that. Get a job, you little fucking communist. Plus I'm worried in case he turns out hot. That was a bad one, even for me, fucking hell. But you know, another thing I've found myself becoming more progressive on is sex work. And I hear a lot of people online, sex work isn't real work, sex work isn't real work. I don't know, if you don't do cardio, it feels like work. But sex work is one of these things where, like drugs, you're never going to get rid of it. You will never ever get rid of sex work. Like, all the way back, since the ancient Babylonians, all the way up to present day, no regime or form of government has ever gotten rid of it. It's called the oldest job in the world for a reason, right? And the reason why it is still here after all this time, and always will be here, is because of marketing. Marketing, right? Now, you all know what marketing is, but for anyone that doesn't know, marketing is when a bunch of white men in suits get together in a room and start pondering about how to make people buy their product. So to give you an example, let's say that there is a pasta pot that doubles as a strainer, so you can cook your pasta in the pot and drain it, and then you pour your little sauce in and turn the handle and boom, job done, that's your pasta made. And now some of you might be saying, that sounds like tatty JML shite. Right, but some of you in the crowd might go, oh, that sounds actually quite good. You know, I might actually go home and look that up online and buy it because you're cunts. But a few seconds ago, you didn't know that product existed, and now you want to go home and buy it and give that company your money, and that is what marketing is. Sex work doesn't have to do any of that, right? We are born with its marketing built into the very fibre of our DNA over millions and millions of years of evolution. It doesn't have to advertise to us. It is built inside us. No 12-year-old who is like, you know, he's starting to get some hair when he didn't have hair before and his voice is getting deeper. Like, no 12-year-old like that has ever walked up to his dad and said, Dad, I keep having thoughts about pasta. and how to make it with ease. Right? That's literally never happened. Even dreams. You remember some of the dreams that you had when you were 12 years old? The ones that resulted in some messy bed sheets and an angry mother. Right? That was you being advertised to in your dream. Like that was sex adverts in your dream. Something that marketing agencies could only dream of. Right? Pardon the pun. But basically, no point ever in my dreams have my dreams said, the new iPhone 13 Pro with 36 front-facing cameras and a faster operating system so we can steal your data faster. In celebration of only 24 factory worker suicides this year. Right? Everyone knows like what fucking is. Right? Go out and find an uncontacted tribe in the middle of the jungle and try and talk to them about the iPhone, and they'll look at you like, what white devilry is this? iPhone. Talk to them about fucking. Oh, fucking yeah, we love fucking yeah, fucking. Right? Even you could make a real world Plato's cave. Right? You could take a male baby from birth, put him in a cell with nothing but 4 walls and a bucket to shit in, and just slide some bread and water under the door every day. Right? And then after 30 years, he will have no concept of civilization, society, he won't have a concept of anything. Open that door and let him out, he will know what a woman is when he sees one. Right? Just a dishevelled caveman with a beard down to his knees just comes out the room and just goes, tits, well. That's amazing, we didn't even teach him language. Well, tits, and pasta, what pasta? But it's something that you will never get rid of it. Even in one of the most authoritarian places on earth, North Korea, sex work is illegal in North Korea. And this is a place where you can literally get flung in a camp for folding a newspaper because the newspapers have the picture of Fat Boy Un on them. And that's desecrating the image of the dear leader getting in the back of the van. Even there, sex work is still booming. Because who enforces the laws? Men. Guess what men might be willing to look the other way for, to allow it to continue? What do you think Kim Jong-un gets delivered to his room every single night? Right? Prostitutes, sex workers. I know sometimes you can get prostitutes to do some like really fucked up stuff, but imagine the stuff you could get them to do if you were Kim Jong-un. Because they know what will happen if they say no. I would abuse the shit out of that. I would hand them like a full deck of playing cards and go, I find it really, really hot when women build like an entire house of cards and looking her in the eye as I'm opening the window. You may begin. Handing her the PlayStation controller and going, oh, I find it so hot when women platinum trophy Dark Souls. She arrives at Blighttown and I just cock the hammer back. Because she's not going to make it. Shame really. Send in the next one. But yeah, in my journey to becoming more and more progressive, there is something that I have been struggling with. And it's something that I've realised that everybody has. And sometimes, we try and keep it down there, but sometimes it comes out and it gets the better of us, and that is our inner racist. Aye, there's an awkward laugh there because you all know. Everyone has it, absolutely everyone. And then there's certain situations that can bring it out in us, like for example when some gentlemen miss a few penalties. I don't actually care about football, but that made me care about football. Football's fun. But there are also certain geographical locations that can bring it out in people depending on who you are. So for example, for white American men, the Walmart car park. White American women, inside the Walmart. White English men, the outside of any nightclub that they have been rejected from. White English women, any and all public transport. Black British men and women, the BBC. White Scottish men, corner shop. And we've all been in situations, you know, like you've just been at a house party and you had to be fancy the girl, but she went upstairs with someone else, and you want to drink away the pain, but you've ran out of Mad Dog 2020, so you want to go down to the corner shop to buy some more, but you left your ID back at the house party and the guy behind the counter refuses to serve you, putting the cherry on top on this absolutely shit night, and the little demon appears on your shoulder and says, "Say it." Just say it, you've had a bad day, everything's been awful, fuck this guy. Like, fuck it, just say it. You'll have a lot of time to think to yourself when you're in the cells tonight. And you'll get to listen to your cellmate screaming the entire time because he snorted 4 lines of what he thought was cocaine, turned out it was crushed up Polish ecstasy. And you get to listen to his never-ending nightmare throughout the rest of this weekend. Or fuck it, just say it. That was an accurate sounding joke, wasn't it? It's almost like that's something that actually happened. And as for bringing out the inner racist in people, I've just done it to all of you. All I said was corner shop. You did the rest. But yeah, everyone I've realised has an inner racist. Even the wokest blue verified tech journalist that you have seen on Twitter, even then, especially then. And there are certain times where you can bring it out in them. Now I've been at a lot of events where it's been like a nice mixed bag of all the different types of political persuasions, including a lot of woke verified techs that I've had run-ins with in the past. And these are people that have all went, "You're a racist, you're a Nazi, you're a bigot, blah blah blah." And when I got arrested for the Nazi talk thing, I don't know if you've heard about that, but what a laugh. But basically the cops went through, like Scottish intelligence went through all of my electronic devices, my computer, my hard drives, my online accounts, absolutely everything. They found absolutely no far-right ideology or connections to far-right groups. They found a lot of fucking hentai. A lot of fucking hentai. Right? However, it wasn't illegal because actually she's a 300-year-old vampire, so... However, you know, despite, you know, that coming out in the court and everything, you know, these, like, woke, blue verified journalist people think that they know better than a literal intelligence agency. And yes, Scotland has an intelligence agency. It's where we keep it all. Scottish intelligence makes you think of some ginger guy like using binoculars to spy out the arsehole of an animatronic sheep. Look at Ace Ventura, bites down on his cyanide capsule and survives because his liver's seen worse. I'm in this room with all of these people, and these are ones again call me a racist and Nazi all day on Twitter, except they're not doing it now because this is real life, we're not on Twitter anymore, and I'm quite a big guy. So they're not doing it now, no. In fact, they try and like sort of overcompensate a little bit by coming up like, "Hi, I know I got your TV show banned, but look, do you want a drink?" And I'm Scottish, so I say yes. You know, man, yeah, I know you like ruined my life and shit like that, but yeah, I'll have a fucking drink. Yeah. And so I'm standing talking with them and I'm being all friendly and I'm being all nice and everything, but then they start with our pish. Like going, oh yes, BLM, oh yes, refugees are welcome here. Not in this room, apparently. They were serving drinks. You know, the way the vote verified people like it. But they started then harping on about, you know, here's all the different minority groups that we should help and everything, and listing them all. And I decided to interject because I believe there's a certain group that get a little bit of a bad rap and I don't feel they get represented by these people enough. So I decided to say, and gypsies. Have you ever seen that famous picture of Joseph Goebbels where he's like scowling at the camera because he found out the photographer was a Jew? That was the look on all of their faces. The mood just changed, man. Right? And then these people started saying some shit. They started saying shit that made me feel uncomfortable. Right, and that's when, and now these are people that think they know for an absolute fact that I'm the racist and I'm the Nazi and everything now. It turns out that them thinking that of you does actually have its perks. There is a bonus to it, because they try and relate to you through it. Like for example, let's say that you're really, really into hentai, just imagine it, I know it might be hard for a lot of you, but just imagine. And that's something you would never admit to your friends or your family or anything like that, that's embarrassing, that's social suicide. But then there's a friend of yours and you notice the signs, you notice the t-shirts he's wearing. He keeps reading those funny books that he quickly puts away when you approach him. He never lets you use his computer. And you end up walking up to him one day and say, I'm something of a fucking degenerate myself. and you form this bond, this esoteric meta-bromance with each other over your shared love of hentai. Well, these journalists were trying to do that with me, but with racism. Now the problem is, I'm not actually racist. But I'm also not the type of man to pass up such a fucking golden opportunity. So I just leaned, I know, surprising, found the journalist. I just decided I'm just going to lean right into it, and I'm just like, I'm something of a fucking racist myself. You may have heard. In fact, you wrote the article. Please continue. Well, with the gypsies, they don't actually try and fit into society, they don't try and assimilate, and they actually try to not fit in, and they commit a lot of crime, and there's a lot of child sex and a lot of child marriage, and it just seems like the police don't do anything about it. Do you know what I mean? I know exactly what you mean. It seems we're on the same page, just a different chapter. But yeah, I'm being serious. Like, I have heard Guardian journalists say things about the Jews and Israel that would make Nick Fuentes blush. I'm being serious. These are the type of people that go out of their way to prove that the Holocaust actually happened, not because they're trying to prove the far right wrong, but because they want it to be true. Speaking of the Holocaust, you got the ticket. You knew what to expect. Now, as a free speech advocate, one thing that keeps popping up in conversation an awful lot is the ability to be able to question the Holocaust, because it is. I know. You've already done your bet. And it's illegal in a lot of places, and people say, as a free speech advocate, how do you feel about that? Now, before I go any further, the Holocaust happened. I would like to make that very clear. The Holocaust happened. For any fucking journalists in here, let me say it again. The Holocaust happened. The Guardian journalists are like, fuck yeah, it did. So before I go any further, the Holocaust happened. But there are several conspiracy theories going around about the Holocaust. Now, I don't know if any of you have any experience with conspiracy theorists, maybe a few of you in here, but the worst thing that you can do to them is make their conspiracy illegal, because it makes them think that they are right. Right? That is the equivalent. In the conspiracy community, that's an award. They brag about it. Like, you're banned from Facebook, my conspiracy's banned from life. So I could get dragged in the back of a van off the street. QAnon pussies. But one of the things, and the reason that that's not something that you should do, is because of the way people's minds work. Because it turns out when you tell people that they're not allowed to question something, it kind of makes them want to question it. They wonder, why is that? Why aren't we allowed to ask questions? Maybe I'll go home and do some Googling, where I'm certain will be presented with only factual and unbiased information. This blog post from username White Pride Worldwide 1488 looks like a good place to start. Right, it is. I can give you another example of how people's minds work and why that was such a bad idea. Let's say a rumour starts to go around the crowd that I shit myself in a bus stop. and you all start asking questions. Pesky questions. And you're all talking amongst each other about me shitting my pants in a bus stop. And I hear all the conversations that you're having, and I come out like this. Stop talking about me shitting myself in a bus stop. If I hear one more person talking about me shitting myself in a bus stop, I'll get security to throw you out, I'll get you banned from future events, I'll get you fired from your job, and I will get you thrown in prison. So stop talking about it, because I did not shit myself in a bus stop. I know what all of you are thinking right now. This man shot himself in a bus stop. Right? So it has the opposite effect. So I think that what should happen is free speech should be embraced, let the facts speak for themselves, and then this entire thing can finally be put to bed. And I want that from an ethical standpoint as a free speech advocate, but I also want to see the internet fucking burn. Can you imagine if that debate was allowed to take place? Like, the internet would just turn into 2012 Syria, where everyone is murdering each other and no one has any idea why. But we know at some stage the CIA is involved. Don't even any of you act like you wouldn't pay £500 pay-per-view to see Ben Shapiro versus Louis Farrakhan. Just imagine that debate. When you think about it logically, you know, consider it for the sake of argument. Silence, devil. Now where's that fine sister of yours? I want to put something in her oven. And that's why I've never been invited on the Daily Wire. But that's a good segue into cancel culture. Cancel culture, you know, that thing that's, I don't even know why we're putting on this show for it, because I've heard it's not real. It doesn't exist, you know, which is what's usually told to you by the people who take part in it all the fucking time. They're screaming at you, cancel culture isn't real, while they're in the middle of typing an email to someone's employer. They're 17th that day. And one of the things they do that I love, right? I love this, because I've never seen this type of defence before, is to prove to you that cancel culture isn't real, they give you examples of all the times where it didn't work. Right? And it's just sort of like, either times where they tried to cancel someone but it just made them stronger, you know, like me, or someone where they managed to get them banned from Facebook, got them to lose their job and everything like that, but the only thing that they have left is a RuneScape account that they haven't logged into in 8 years and probably don't remember the password for, and they say, well, you still have that, so technically you weren't cancelled. Can you imagine a defence lawyer trying to pull that shit in court? You know, there's an attempted murder charge happening, you know, his fucking client sitting in the dock, and then the witness, who's the victim, is sitting in the stand, talking about how they stabbed him 30 times and beat him over the head with a GameCube. And then, you know, the call on 6 CCTV cameras, 300 witnesses, a notary clerk just so happened to be walking past, and everything, and then the defence lawyer just struts up to him and goes, but did you die though? You look very alive to me. So since what my client did didn't work, murder isn't real, sweetie. The defence rests. Another one of the things that they do, and this is probably my favourite one, is the phrase that they say is, there is no such thing as cancel culture, it is called being held accountable. And they think that is like a magic word where they can do whatever the fuck they want to a person, like for the tiny infraction of an offensive tweet, where, oh, this person made me feel bad for about 5 minutes. I better make sure they can't feed their children for the rest of their lives. I'm just holding them accountable. But they think it's a free pass to give out some of the most horrendous, horrific, extreme punishments for tiny, tiny little things. But you can use that argument straight back at them, and one of the ones that you can use if you feel like losing your Twitter account is to say to them, there is no such thing as police brutality, George Floyd was just being held accountable. Now the point I'm trying to make is, yes, if people have done bad things, then yes, they should be held accountable, but with punishments that fit the crime. So for example, just because you sent a little spicy tweet doesn't mean you should have your entire life ruined and not be able to put a roof over your head or food in your mouth for the rest of your life. And in the same breath, just because you try to use a fake $20 bill does not mean that you should be murdered by the fucking cops. And we should all remember the name of the police officer that murdered George Floyd. Do you remember his name?
Fentanyl.
You ruined the fucking punchline, you dick. Well, I was going to say Officer Fentanyl. Officer Fentanyl. Yeah, probably from China with a name like that. All the Fentanyls come from China. Yeah, you fucking dick, you. But yeah, another thing that happens like with cancel culture, right, that I've noticed as well, is it has actually made me pro-gun control. I have a good reason though, I have a good explanation for it. Let's take for example, a friend of ours, you know, he's got a good job, he lives in a nice big house, you know, he's got a wife, he's got kids, he's making a lot of money, he's up for promotion next month, everything's going amazing, everything's going great. And then he goes out drinking with his friends, and while he's drunk, he notices that one of the friends aren't there. Oh, why is he not here? Oh, he had work early tomorrow, so he didn't want to come. So he takes out his phone and tweets at his friend, "Why didn't you come out drinking with us, you faggot?" He puts his phone down, carries on drinking, goes about the rest of his night, and goes home and goes to bed. But while our friend is asleep, someone is lurking on Twitter. Someone is typing such words into the search bar. Someone with a bio that says, "they, them." Hashtag anti-fascist. Hashtag I'm with her. Hashtag map. And they find their friend's tweet, and they get to work, and they manage to find his Facebook, and they contact his family, his employer, absolutely everyone that's connected to him. And when our friend wakes up in the morning with a hangover to deal with, none of his family are talking to him, all his friends have burned bridges with him, he's been fired from his job, his dog's not talking to him, everything's gone, everything's over, right? And he can't get a job anywhere else because he's been stamped with the scarlet N-word, and so no one wants to touch him, nobody wants to hire him. So he can't pay his mortgage, and the bank come and take his house away, so him and the wife and kids have to move into a shitty one-bedroom flat with a toilet with no door. And oh, sorry, I got dizzy there. I'm not well, I've got a cold, by the way. Don't worry, I'm fine. You shit yourself there, didn't you? With a toilet with no door, and eventually his wife says, "I can't take this anymore," and leaves with the two kids to move in with that guy. Don't worry about it, he's just a friend. So our friend is sitting there with absolutely nothing. He's lost his job, he's lost his home, he's lost his wife, he's lost his kids. Everything is gone, and he just sits there on his own, stewing in his misery, just because he called someone a faggot on Twitter. This man should not be allowed to own a gun. This man is a ball hair away from posting a manifesto on 8chan. And the worst thing is, and it's quite sad part, usually you end on a joke, but you know, it's not really a joke. The saddest thing about all of this, right, is these left-wing, like, woke virtue signalling journalists and all these cancel culture vultures that are creating all of these disasters waiting to happen. But for some reason, when the disasters do happen, we're the ones that get fucking blamed for it. Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.
Count Dankula, everyone. Did you like that intro? I do like that intro. Well, hi. Okay, folks, we're going to break up for an intermission of about 10-15 minutes. So if you could be as fast as a Somalian man running in to meet the Tory MP. Please don't arrest me for that. So if you want to go out, get some smokes, have a quick drink. Marcus, please don't die. If you come down with COVID symptoms after this event, It's on Marcus, it's nothing to do with us or the venue. He's the one who's brought it in, he's the super spreader, and see you in a hot minute.